Hi everybody, welcome back. Wow, time flies. I planned so much for the past week, but very little of it actually came to pass. But finally, it is the school holidays, so maybe, finally, I'll get to it all now. It has just passed 3 years since Summer Moon Utah Wells disappeared. I cannot remember the last time a case frustrated me as much as the Summer Wells case did and still does. Unfortunately, this is one case where I think social media did more damage than good. Usually I'm team social media and would rather have speculation than no media and attention at all. But in the case of Summer Wells, I think the case would have been solved had it not been for social media. I think so much false information and so many opinions were blatantly shared that I think neither TBI nor law enforcement could make head or tails of what is in fact true, what is probable, and what is 100% nonsense, and they likely still can't. Of course, 3 years down the line, I'm still stuck on two things in particular. The first thing is something Candace said. She said, and I can still hear her saying it like an echo in my head, Summer got gone. Now, I know it is how Candace speaks. She's not an educated woman and so forth, but I have really tried to sort through dialects and American accents, and usually if someone really just disappeared, especially in a short period of time, one would hear something like, I just turned my back for 2 minutes, and when I turned back, she was gone, or poof, she was gone, or she was just gone, or whatever variation of it. But she got gone sounds like Summer did something to be gone. Summer, in her mother's mind, seems to be the reason why she is now missing. It sounds like Candace is telling us Summer did something which resulted in her being missing. The other thing which really bugs me is the fact that during an interview, Candace said that police had not contacted her in a long time, and she followed it up with, they know where to find me. And then about a week ago, Summer's father, Don Wells, did the same thing. He actually turned to Candace to confirm what he said, and she did when he said the police had not been in contact with him for over a year. Now, I find that ridiculous. If my child or family member was missing, I would be the one contacting law enforcement and not wait for them to contact me. I think initially it would be weekly, then monthly, and I think after 3 years, maybe every 3 to 6 months. But no way would I just sit back and say, oh, well, it's now been a year since law enforcement contacted me. As much as we placed Summer Wells on the forefront, she was not the only child or person to go missing in Tennessee, and it is normal human nature that if two youngsters go missing, say A and B's parents are in touch every few weeks and consistently, the investigating authority, TBI and/or law enforcement, will do more in B's case because they know they have to give some feedback at some point. I think if parents or family do not do that, other cases will take priority. I cannot understand why neither Candace, Don, or Grandis would not even be curious enough to contact law enforcement and ask about new information on the case. It surely makes me think or feel that Don or Candace or Don and Candace and Grandis know what happened. After all this time, I still do not think Summer just wandered off, as I firmly believe Summer could not have gotten further than, say, 1 to 5 miles before the search for her kicked off, particularly because, like in Sebastian Rogers' case, Summer was likely barefoot. I realized that after such a long time the remains would likely be minuscule and scattered, and had she walked away and something had accidentally befallen her, there would likely be little to no trace left after 3 years. But at the same time, I feel very strongly that had Summer walked off and something happened accidentally, or she ran into an animal of some kind, she would have been found in the first 6 months, or at least something of hers, like clothing or whatever, would have been found. But nothing, not a piece of clothing which may have or could have snagged on a tree, nothing. Humans, drones, heat-seeking, and even film-recognizing color dogs were out there for weeks, but nothing, not a trace. Even the dogs tracking her was such a convoluted story that I found it hard to believe. First, they tracked her down the dog trail, and then they tracked her down the driveway. So which was it? It had to be either or not at all. Law enforcement themselves have never cleared it up, so we have to rely on the parents, who are not the most honest or most reliable, or rely on others like their unreliable neighbors and so forth. It is now said that Don and Candace had signed their rights away in terms of the boys. Is that true? I cannot access court records from my location, so I cannot verify it for myself, but I am going to believe it for now because Candace had done it before. She signed her rights away to her first daughter and son, and now she likely did it again. I consulted with a subscriber on my other channel, and she said that there is no way anyone can force anyone to sign away the rights to their children, not even a criminal charge of, say, DUI or drug possession, where a parent ends up with a year, 2 or 3 in jail, is enough to force parental rights to be taken. She said that there are many women in jail with children in foster care who they work with to reunite them with their families after their sentence. She says depending on the children's ages and the circumstances like family support, etc., it can take a few months or even a year or two. She says the only reason why a court would force that on a parent is due to serious abuse or SA, or in obvious cases where the parent is aggressive or mentally unstable and had committed murder or rape, ending in a long prison sentence, even if he or she did not treat his or her child badly. And that happens too. We know that. So our questions should be, what did Don or Candace or Don and Candace do to warrant their parental rights being terminated? It must be far more serious than we know or are being told. Or, yes, indeed, there are circumstances where a parent can be threatened, cajoled, or basically blackmailed into voluntarily signing away their rights, which I think we are all guessing is what happened in this particular case. I think we all think that Don and Candace were given choices, of which one was likely that they face serious charges of abuse and neglect or sign their rights away, so that the boys can stand a chance of a normal, healthy life, a proper education, and so forth. But that in itself puts Don and Candace right back in the spotlight in Summer's disappearance. I'm really, in this particular case, so fed up with the goody two-shoes, bleeding hearts who go, poor Candace. No, Candace is a piece of work. How many more people who actually know Candace must tell the world what a nasty, filthy woman she is before these holier-than-thou creators start believing that. Luckily, she does not have any more children to sign away or disappear. There are two possible scenarios for Summer which make sense. Somebody on that yard did something to Summer, or she walked away down to the road and was picked up. In both scenarios, there's only one person to blame: Candace. Candace either disappeared her daughter one way or the other, or she did not take proper care of her. Looking at Candace's history, there is no reason why we are not absolutely within our rights to believe Candace disappeared Summer. It is just the exact circumstances which are unclear. Was it an accident, or did Grandis or the boys or even Candace herself cause Summer's demise? Had Summer made her way to the road? How long did it really take Candace to start looking for her? Guaranteed not 2 to 5 minutes. No one in the true crime community will ever forget Summer Moon Utah Wells anytime soon. But whether the truth will ever be known is a completely different matter. I personally think that Summer had been sacrificed to give her brothers a better life. And yes, I do think Candace is the guilty one way or the other. Even the fact that she got up and walked away from the latest interview tells me she does not give a crap. When she's heard enough, she gets up and walks away. No interest whatsoever in ever learning the fate of her little girl. And why? Because I think she knows. Anyway, let me leave it right there before this turns into a rant. As this video is not about Candace, it is about a beautiful little girl this monster gave birth to. Summer Moon Utah Wells is now 8 years old, and I just hope and pray that wherever she is, she's happy and 100% better off than with Candace. Summer Moon, may her name live on, despite the mother cruel nature had chosen for her. Okay, guys and girls, that's me for today. Please take good care of yourselves, your children, your pets, your neighbors, and each other. Until we meet again. Bye.